See, God has not called us to church hop. God has called us to stay in one space and get planted. Those who are planted in the courts of the flourish of the water of our God. Hey everyone, this is Seth, and today we're talking about the 4 biggest and most common mistakes made by camera guys in church worship services. Getting professional and great looking video for your live stream, your in-service projection, and or your YouTube Vimeo video channel is really important. So here are 4 mistakes not to make sure that you have great looking video. Number 1, jerky camera movement. If there's anything that drives me crazy, it is jerky camera movement. Jerky camera movement can kill your video quicker than almost anything. You can have this great smooth looking shot and you're just watching, and then the pastor moves and then the camera starts to jerk like you're in an episode of Star Trek Voyager. I'm giving her all she's got, Captain! Make sure that when you are operating a camera tripod that you are absolutely ninja smooth in all of your camera angles. Pastor moves, you go smooth. We don't jerk back and forth like this. The pastor's moving, you just move right with him. Do whatever you have to do to make sure that your camera motion is smooth. You might have to tweak some of the things in your tripod to make it fluid. You might need to lubricate up some of the joints in the ball or whatever tripod you have. But whatever you do, make sure that all of your motion is very, very smooth, because nothing will kill your video more than jerky movement left to right. Numero dos. Number 2 is headspace. I can't tell you how many times I watch sermons on YouTube and Vimeo and all over the web, and the headspace is so whacked out. Like right now, this is a good amount of headspace. I've got about 5 to 10% worth of headspace, and that's about a good amount of headspace. But I'll turn on YouTube channels or sermons online that I see, and they're rocking like some headspace like, thank you, worship team. Well, God bless you. Welcome to church today. Go ahead and greet those around you as we move into a time of fellowship. Right now, I'm rocking about a 5 to 10% amount of headroom, and that's a great amount of headroom. You can see most of my body, and it's a well-framed shot. You don't want to really go much more than this because it starts to look really weird. This shot looks pretty good right here. I can maybe move down a little bit, and that's still probably pretty good. But anything much more than this, and it's going to start to look really weird. Right here, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's okay. Really bad. Terrible. You need a new camera guy. On the other hand, you want to make sure that you have enough headroom that as you're panning left to right, maybe from a different angle facing the stage, that your pastor's head isn't going to get cut off. Normally, I try to average about 5 to maybe 15% of headspace between the top of the pastor's head and the top of the screen. Number 3, not paying attention. When you are running camera, as a rule of thumb, I always tell our camera guys, you have to watch the entire service on your viewfinder. You can't get your viewfinder all set up in place and then start to watch the service from outside of your viewfinder. Because the moment that you take your eyes off that viewfinder, your pastor's gonna move and you're gonna have him outside of your shot. See, we've got to understand and we've got to remember it's our job to be the hands and feet of Jesus. We got to be feeding the orphan and feeding the widow. You know what I mean, church? Come on. So make sure, always pay attention. Watch that viewfinder the entire service. Do not take your eyes off the viewfinder. You just stare at it. Number 4, bad framing. Having a well-framed shot is really important. Sometimes I see shots of maybe a pastor behind a pulpit and then the pastor's like off to the side, not centered. As the band comes up and sings this chorus about 700 more times, we're gonna partake of communion today. That's just not a well-framed shot. Typically, if your pastor is simply just preaching from a pulpit, I try to center him pretty much all the time. Now, your pastor might preach maybe sitting down with a little table, and at that point, you're gonna wanna use your rule of thirds to make sure that you have a well-framed shot. But typically, in general, you're going to want to have your pastor right down the center of your shot and then following them as your pastor moves left and right outside of your pulpit. So there you have it. Those are the 4 top mistakes that camera guys make. Make sure that your motion is smooth, make sure you have good headspace, make sure that you are paying attention, and make sure that your shots are framed well, and your video will look fantastic. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you've seen in this video, go ahead and give it a thumb up and click the subscribe button and share this video with a friend. God bless you, and we'll see you next time.